Hey everybody, it's Wes with Fundamental Games, here to do a solo run-through of Forge, a strategic game of medieval forging. So I'm going to be playing against a AI bot that's created for this game, a solo deck of cards that controls an artificial opponent. And I'll play as the green Forge, and we will have the imaginary opponent Ironclad be playing as the gold cards, and they will be doing various things. So you'll see how it'll work out. Now, I'm not going to explain the entire game to you in this scenario. You'll kind of get a feel for the game as we play along, but I think you'll catch on relatively quickly. As a quick overview, Forge is a medieval game of a strategic game of medieval forging, in which case we're building up our individual forges, exploring the city to gather resources and contracts, and then trying to forge items to acquire points and have the most renown in this medieval time. And we're going to earn points and go up an achievement track, and over the course of however many rounds, we're going to see who the victor is, whether it's myself or Ironclad. All right, so to set up a solo game, the first thing we do is remove the extra hammers from the achievement board. So I'm going to put these over here. The only hammer that's going to go on here is my hammer. And then we're going to grab, let's say, the red hammers. These red hammers are going to represent rounds of play once we get to that part of the game. So I will explain that. But I guess I'll explain that right now. There's really going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds of play plus the first, so 7 rounds in total. And at the end of that 7 rounds, whether I have the most points or Ironclad does, that will be the victor. Now, normally in a game, it's when somebody places 5 achievement hammers, the game then triggers. But in the solo game, it's a bit different, so there's a set number of rounds. All right, so let's get into it. Anytime you're playing a solo game, the solo opponent sets up their board just like this, nothing different than ours. They have 2 assistants and a blacksmith. They don't start with any resources, so I guess it is slightly different. I'll put this back in the bag. Whereas I start with 1 wood, 1 metal, and 5 gold. Ironclad doesn't start with anything. But at the beginning of a round, what always happens is my hammer will drop to the next available resource. And so in this case, I will immediately get 1 wood. So technically, I'm starting the game with 2 wood. But on the next round, I'll get a different resource, and so on and so forth. Now, normally this turn sequence track is used by multiple players, and that'll help determine what resources they get. But in a solo game, it's predetermined what happens there. The Ironclad opponent always plays first, no matter what turn or round it is. The Ironclad always plays first. And so what they're going to do on their turn is they're going to grab one of these AI cards, flip it over, and they're going to follow it in sequence from top left to right, to left, to right, to left, to right, from top to bottom. And sometimes there'll be empty spaces like there is on this card in various parts of the card. The very first section is the location. So what it says is they're going to place so it represents a 9 grid. Now the 9 grid ignores the contract row. So when we're playing, this 9 grid never refers to this column because the AI opponent does contracts in a different way anyway, and they'll never block the player's contract acquisition. So what'll happen is, in this case, we'll put a meeple in the bottom row, and it's always going on the left-hand side. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is that in a 2-player game, including against the AI, a color of an opponent blocks these 3. So in a 2-player game only, these are automatically blocked, these center spots. All right, so the meeple goes here. Now, they don't get any benefit from where they go. It's just a blocking position more than anything. Instead, they move on to the next thing. So now they get 1 gold. We'll grab that from the resource pool. We'll put it on their forge board. Next, they are going to, if they can afford it, they would upgrade in their forge equal to the value shown there. So in this case, 8 money. They don't have 8 money, so they can't perform that action. And then finally on this card, they will place a hammer token on the revealed icon here, unless they've already placed a hammer this turn. So in this case, they're going to place a hammer, which is a achievement. I know first turn of the game it might seem odd, but that's how it works with the AI. They're going to put an achievement here, and that matches this row here. And they're going to immediately gain 5 points. Now I'm going to use these to track points instead of oops, they're blue. All right, so we're going to give them 5 points, and we'll use that to track points. So blue is the Ironclad, and green is me. So when you place a hammer, you get points equal to the level of the hammer on the track. And if we kind of reposition here, you can see how that works. So whoever places their hammer first gets the most points. In a 2-player game, you never get more than 3 points or less than 3 points for a hammer. But in a multiplayer game, you might only get 2 or 1 points if you're placing your hammer later on. There's a racing mechanism to it. All right, so that is the Ironclad's first turn. That's all they do. Then on my turn, I get to choose if I want to place my blacksmith or one of my 2 assistants, and I can put them anywhere on the board that's not currently blocked. So I'm going to take this, and we're going to say, actually one thing I forgot to do with setup is to shuffle these decks, so we'll just give them a quick shuffle. And the contract decks, I'm supposed to draw a card from each of them. The opponent does not. And then each deck gets a card in the discard pile. So I forgot to do that as part of setup. The other thing I forgot to do as part of setup is to place one of each of these. They each get a discard pile of their own. You'll notice in the TTS these cards are a little bit off, but we'll play with them that way. Let's see. Let's draw these. Draw this to my hand, and so now I can see here which one of these I want to keep. So at the beginning of the game, you get to keep one of the cards that you draw. Now these ones have a high skill, and I start with 0 skill, so I'm going to choose to discard the ones with the high skill and keep my rakes. All right, and this will go under my forge board. So these are contracts that are available but not completed yet. So to build that, I would need 4 wood and 3 metal. And I think that's what I'm going to pursue, is to start by forging something so I can get some money to upgrade later. So if I want to get 4 wood, I should probably send somebody out there now. I'm going to send this assistant up here, and because it covers up a 4, if I put it in the right spot, I will gain 4 wood. So 1... maybe if I can grab the wood. 2, 3, 4. Alright, so I've got 4 wood now, and we pass to the opponent's turn. Ironclad takes a card, flips it over. They're going to place an assistant on the top row on the left-hand side, making it harder for me to get metal. They're going to gain 4 gold. So, not sure why these bags aren't working. 1, 2, 3, 4. They've got 4. Oh, they grabbed 2, 3, 4. 4 metal. Gold. If they had 12 gold, they could buy an anvil upgrade, which they don't. There's a development card icon, so they draw a development card from the top of the deck, put it on their development card. If it had points, they would gain those points immediately. Otherwise, the card has no effect. And then they are able to draw a military card. Anytime the opponent draws a card, they also discard a card from the top of the deck. They're drawing a military card. If they can afford to pay for it with their money, in this case it's worth 5 money, they would. So they have 4, 5 money. So they're going to take this 5 money, put it back, and they are going to forge that card. So they forge with money instead of with resources like a player does. So that goes into play, and they gain the points shown on the bottom left immediately. So they're going to gain 5 points. 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're getting points fast. All right, back to my turn. I want to get some metal while I still can. So I start with 1. I'm going to need 3. So yeah, I'm going to actually send my blacksmith up there. If you put a blacksmith up here, you'll notice that there's a little +1 on their icon. That means they get whatever's shown +1 more. So I'm going to get not 1, but 3, or not 2, but 3 metal instead of 2 I would get if I placed just an assistant. And finally, the third turn for Ironclad, they're going to place their blacksmith on the bottom right side, and if it is their blacksmith, it covers up the blacksmith spot. and then they're going to gain 1 coin. If they had 10 money, they could buy a vice. And if they hadn't already placed a hammer this turn, they would place a hammer on the wagon section. But they've already placed a hammer this turn. So that will end their turn. We'll go back to my turn. I've got 1 assistant left. I've got lots of money. At the end of my turn, I'm going to be able to do a forge action for free, so I'm happy with that. So I think instead I'm going to look to see what I want to do next. For training card, there's a promoter. That's interesting. So I'm going to place this on this training card, so I get to draw the top 2 cards of the training deck and pick one that I want to be my card. So I can have my common contracts worth extra points at the end of the game, or gain a skill when this assistant is trained. I'm going to try that one. Now, normally these cards would be printed in landscape, but something with TTS messed them up. I would put that one there. The other one goes to the discard pile. And when I put that there, I immediately gain 1 skill, and I'm allowed to forge as though I had 1 skill higher. So that card is useful in more ways than one. So I'll take that. That is the end of the round. At the end of the round, the first thing that happens is I take my blacksmith to my forge, and I get to forge once. So if I have the resources to do so. So in this case, I would need 1 skill, which I have. I would need my tongs, which I do not have, and then 4 wood and 3 metal. So unfortunately, I did not plan ahead well, and I do not have the resources to actually make my rigs, so I don't get to forge this turn. The opponent, the Ironclad, does not forge for free because they forge in a different way, which we already saw earlier in the round. So once I've done my forge action, we then recall all of our assistants and workers back to the board. So I'm just going to put these back. I don't have a quick snap recall button, so I have to do it manually. But that's okay. And once those are back, because we're going to the next round of play, we each get an extra assistant. So on the second round of play, we each get our second assistant. And on the third round of play, we each get our third assistant. After that, we place a red hammer, or a non-player hammer, onto the forge board on the bottom to indicate that we are starting this round of play. And then my hammer goes down, and I gain the resource shown there. So I gain a free metal just for this round of play. We then put the Ironclad cards back in the Ironclad deck. We shuffle it up with the R button, and we're ready to start the next round of play. So Ironclad's going to go first, as always. They are going to place one of their assistant tokens in the bottom middle. That'll go there. Then they're going to gain 1 gold. If they had 8 gold, they could forge upgrade, and then they have the ability to place a hammer token on the forge icon, which they've already got one there, so they don't place another hammer. So that's their turn. Sometimes parts of their turn won't give them anything, but that's intentional. So it might seem like they get a lot of points early on, but in some of these aspects, they start to stale out later on. So that leaves it back to my turn. One of my things I want to do is get some tongs, but I also want some more metal. So I'm going to send this guy up here to get 3 metal, just because I want to make sure I get that before Ironclad can have lots of metal on hand. Ironclad takes a turn. They're going to put a meeple in the middle row here. If they have an assistant in the middle row, that means I cannot use that spot. I'm going to gain 3 money. There's actually 3 money right there. We're going to take that. So they're up to 5 money. If they had 11, they could do an upgrade. They don't, and then they get to place a hammer on the training achievement. So they're going to take this hammer here and train for free. So now they get 5 points for that. Back to my turn. I am going to send this person over. Oh, see, if I would have went to chisels first, but now it's been blocked. So the only way I can upgrade my chisels is to send my blacksmith there. You can see by the diagonal arrow, blacksmith can go to either side. So I'm going to upgrade my tongs by spending 1 metal and 2 gold. So we're going to send this 5 back. We're going to take 3 money as my change. So I'm down to 3 money, and then I'm going to delete 2 blocks of metal. Oh, sorry. Oopsie. 1 block of metal. All right, now, and then I upgrade this. When I upgrade my tongs, I get 2 points immediately. So put those on the achievement here. And pass my turn. Going over to Ironclad, they're going to place a meeple on the bottom left again. They gain a coin. If they have 10 money, they can make their vice. They've only got 6. And if they could make their wagon, they would, but that's already been built. So that's fine. I'll go back to this player. So now I know at the end of the round I do have tongs and enough resources. I am going to be able to forge this, but I still want to do some other stuff. So maybe I want to train another assistant. So if I take this assistant and put them on the training spot, because the left one's already been filled, my only option is to take one from the top of the discard pile. So I would take this card and slot it into that trainee spot. And at the end of the game, my common contracts are worth 2 BP each. Because this one actually got me a point right away, so I should be 1 higher on this point track. Back to Ironclad's turn. This is their their 4th and final turn. So they're going to place their blacksmith on the top right. They'll go in the blacksmith spot. They don't get anything for that, of course. They get 3 money. 2, 3. So it pops up there. Should be up to. Oh, I took an extra one. Should get 9 money. Get 9 money. If they had 19, they could upgrade their forge. They don't. Now they get a free guild card. So they just take the top card of the guild deck. That becomes theirs. They don't get any benefits from it other than the seal on the top left. And then that's their turn. And then we discard the top card of the guild deck. Back to my turn. I have 1 assistant left. And I can't train that assistant. But I could develop something. Or I could try upgrading something else in my forge. I've got only 3 money though, so I can't upgrade anything up top. So you know what? I am going to go to the develop shop. I'm going to take 2 cards from the top of the development deck and pick one. So I can get a Treadwell or a Guild's Cove. I am going to take a Guild's Cove and put it here. This one goes on the discard pile. So it gives me a purple seal, which is important for the end game points. And if I place an assistant here, I can gain the top card of the guild deck. So that's kind of a little perk. Instead of sending my blacksmith there, my assistant can go here and get a free guild card. That's kind of handy. All right, we've placed all of our workers. So that means my blacksmith comes back to the forge and they get 1 free forge action. If I have a skill, which I do, if I have a tongs, which I do, and then I expend 4 wood, we'll delete those, and 3 metal. Delete those. So now this comes into being. When I forge that contract, I immediately earn 6 points. So put that up here on the board. Oops, wrong person. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I gain 7 money for that. And this is one of the important ways to gain money in the game is to forge. So that's good, helps with the coffers. And that is the end of my forge action. So the round ends and we return all of our people to our boards, including the blacksmith. And I'll return my green ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's that blacksmith? Oh, there he is. All right. Then we get to take our final worker. When we place that worker, you can see there's a little star underneath. That means I get a skill star just for getting my 4th worker. Now the Ironclad doesn't play with skills, so it doesn't affect them. Then we go to the turn board here, and we're going to put this hammer here to show that we're now on this round of play. I'll move my hammer down and get myself a free brick, which is important for some contracts and for some things on my forge board. We're going to shuffle this back together. And Ironclad is going to take their next turn. So they're going to place a meeple in the center row, not the contracts row, but they're going to put it here, so I'm not allowed to use that this turn. And they're going to gain 3 money. So now they're up to 12 money, and they can spend 11 of that, so it just means they have 1 change. They can spend all 11 of this, and they have to upgrade their grindstone. So this will go here, and they gain the 4 points attributed to that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if they didn't already have the training hammer, they would place their hammer on the training, but they've already got that, so we're good there. We'll go off to my turn. I want to keep my training going. So I'm going to take this guy here, and I'm going to take the top 2 cards of the training deck again and see which one I'm interested in. An accountant that can exhaust to put a contract card under it, or a master blacksmith that can forge something for skill 4 or less. Interesting. That's worth a point. That's got a blue seal. I'm going to take the accountant, which has the blue seal. So, or sorry, the master blacksmith. And I'll put this card back here. So that is my turn. We'll go back to the Ironclad's turn. They're going to place a meeple in the top middle on the left-hand side always. And then gain 4 coins. So I'm going to put a 1 back and grab a 5. If they had 12, they could upgrade their anvil, which they don't. They get a free development card from the top of the deck. It's not worth any points. And then they put a card from the development deck to the discard pile. That's part of that action. And then they flip over a royal contract card, and if they had 6 money, they could forge it, but they do not. So that goes into the discard pile. And they don't get any points for that. Now, I'm just going to flip to the back of the rule book here and double check the ruling on that. Make sure I remember how to play solo here. So that is that. Location. So gain a card. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, contracts. Ironclad doesn't have enough gold to pay for the contract, discard it. So there's no benefit to them not being able to afford a card. For Ironclad. I'll go back to my turn, and I'm going to... what am I going to do? I need a contract card. I could use one of those. I'm actually going to send my blacksmiths somewhere. I'm going to send them to the commons to draw not 1, but 2 blacksmith or 2 contract cards. Now I can pull from the discard pile or from the draw deck. So I'm going to pull the first one from the draw pile. I found some bottle racks. And you know what? I'm going to pull the second one from the discard pile. So I'm going to have the decorative cross plus the bottle racks in my to be forged area. And because I emptied the pile, a card goes into the discard pile. Alright, so I've got some more forge cards I can work, contract cards I can work on here. It's my opponent's turn. They're going to flip over a card. They're going to place an assistant here, so that spot can't be used by me. They're going to gain 3 coins. Alright. Oops. If they had 11, they could get the grindstone, but they've already forged that, and they can place a hammer because they haven't placed a hammer there yet, and that is on a guild's icon. So that's going to give them 5 points. So quite often the Ironclad is the first to place their hammers. Usually in one of these games, the human player will only get first on 1 or 2 of those tracks. Alright, but it is the human player's turn. So they're going to check in and see, can they forge any of these? The decorative crosses, they don't have 5 skill. The bottle racks they could make, and they do have tongs, and they do have a wood, and they do have 3 metal. So one of the things some players do is they put the resources they plan to forge with on the card so they don't forget, or they know they have the ability to forge that. So I'm pretty comfortable at the end of the round. I'm going to make some bottle racks. And I don't even need any more resources to do it, so I'm going to focus on doing something else here, and I'm going to send this assistant over here to upgrade my chisel. And that's just going to, oh no, I can't, I don't have enough metal. Let's go get some metal first. Ooh. I already placed the blacksmith. So I'm just going to go here and get 2 metal. See, my opponent already blocked my metal spot. That's unfortunate. We'll go there. Ironclad's going to take their turn. They get to place a meeple up here in the wood zone and gain 5 money. So they're up to 13 money now, and they can forge the wagon if they have 10 money, which they do. So take that 10 money off. They're going to forge that wagon, which will be worth 5 points. And then they draw a training card. They haven't got one of those yet. So their training card will go to the side of their board there. And if it's worth any points, they get the points right away. But that's the only benefit they get from training cards. And then we discard the top card of the training deck. Back to my turn. Now I'm going to go here and upgrade my chisels. It's going to cost me 1 metal and 1 gold coin. And I'll put these chisels here, and I'll earn 1 victory point for that. So not much for victory points, but it broadens my ability to forge things, particularly the decorative crosses later that I look forward to forging. Ironclad's turn. They just have their blacksmith left, so their blacksmith's going to go up here, block that metal spot. Then they're going to gain 4 money, so I'll put a 1 back and drop a 5. They had 12 money, they can make their anvil. Grab a development card. They're not at 4 cards yet, so they're safe. It's not worth any points. And then they're going to grab a military card, and it costs them 5 money, which they have. So they're going to forge this card, which will give them 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're just flying ahead. Back to my turn. I've got 1 assistant left, and I'm not sure what I want to do. Got 1 metal, 1 wood, and 1 brick. Now I could, you know what, I could make my grindstone. Let's go with that. We're going to go over here. We're going to spend 1 brick, 1 wood, and 5 money. Upgrade that grindstone. When we upgrade the grindstone, we gain a skill. And then we also get 4 points. So it's a couple of benefits there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can still I'm way behind on points, but the gap will close as we get further in the game. It's like coming back from behind. All right, so AI opponent, Ironclad has no actions. I've got no actions left. So that means my blacksmith returns to the forge to forge 1 item of my choosing if I can. So I have a skill, I have a tongs. I then expend 1 wood and 3 metal, which I've already put on the card to show that I had it. And that will go here. I'm going to trash those. That card will be, whoops. That card will be worth 4 money and 4 points. So the 4 money I'm going to grab from here. 1, 2, 3, 4 money and 4 points. And then we go back. I don't have 3 contracts yet, so I don't get to place a hammer for that. So that is the end of the forging action round, and then we return all of our workers back to our board. I apologize if I keep using the word worker. In this game, they're called assistants, but it is a worker placement game, and that's been in my head every time I play it, so I always think of worker instead of assistant. But I use them interchangeably. Grab these, put them back on the forge board. For Ironclad, grab back their blacksmith from the mountains there. We're going to shuffle these up again. Go to the turn board, put a red token here to get us to the next round. And then I will gain a gemstone. So grab one of these, add them to my pile. And we'll start the next round of play. So we just have 3 turns left, including this one. Ironclad's going to go first. They're going to drop their meeple in the plaza again. Just keep getting that one. And they're going to get 3 money. Once they got their 3 money, they're going to look. They can't do the grindstone, can't do the training, so their turn is over. I'm going to go back to my turn, and I'm going to send this assistant to train from the discard pile. So we're going to grab that engineer, put it here, and it's worth a point right away. and it lets this assistant in the future go to an upgrade location. So that'll be handy later on. We'll take that point, and because I have now I've trained all 4 of my assistants, I'm now eligible to drop a hammer here. When I drop that hammer, I get 3 points. So I may not have gotten the most points, but I did at least get some points for that hammer placement. We'll go back to Ironclad. They're going to take an assistant here and drop them on the top. I'm going to gain 1, 2, and 3 coins. If they had 19 coins, they could build a forge, but they only have 8 coins right now, so I don't get that. But they do get a guild card. I'll go to the bottom of their play area here. They don't get any benefits from the card except for at the end of the game. All right, back to my turn. I think I want to forge this cross if I can help it. In order to do that, I would need a skill. The only way to get a skill is I can get a skill by making my forge. I have 4. I do have enough gold. I've got 8 gold, and I do have a metal, but I would need 2 bricks. In order to get 2 bricks, I would need to be able to buy them because I don't have any available, and you can't harvest bricks anywhere. You can only get them from the market or from the turn order track. So we're going to play, how are we going to do this? Or I could try to find a skill star in one of these decks. So maybe I'm going to try that. I'm going to send this traveling assistant to my guild's cove. And it says I'm going to gain the top card of the guild deck. So I'm going to grab this card. Now I just happen to get real lucky there. I'll just drop this here. So this card says gain a coin. Again, remember the computer doesn't gain a coin when they get those, or the Ironclad doesn't, but I do. So I gain a coin, I gain a skill, and this card can be used to reduce the cost of a contract with a matching seal by 1 resource of your choice. 1 time, and then you flip the card over and only use it at the end of the game. The important thing here is I've got my 5th skill. When you get your 5th skill, that is in achievement. So up here you can see for 5 skill stars, I get first hammer there, so I get 5 points. Fantastic. And now I have the skill I need to make these crosses. I also have the chisels. I also have the tongs. So now all I'm going to need is a little bit of wood and a little bit of metal. So that's good to know. But we're going to go back to Ironclad's turn. They're going to drop a meeple here. They're going to gain 2 money. If they have 5, which they do, they're going to upgrade their tongs, which they haven't done yet. So we're going to take 5 of these back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They upgrade their tongs immediately and get 2 points. So 1, 2. And if they haven't already placed a hammer on the place where the chisel is, which they have not, they place it there and they're going to get 5 points for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the only place left that I could get the hammer first is developments. So I could still try for that. But I've got other things in motion too, so it could be hard to do. So do I want to go for the development cards? Not really. I want to be able to build this cross on my turn. I have a gemstone. I have 1 metal. So I'm going to send this craftsman up to metal to get 3 metal. That's what I want to do this turn. 1, 2, 3. I've got 3 more metal. I'm going to set 2 metal on here because I know it takes 2 metal. So all I need now is 1 wood. Go back to the Ironclad's turn. They're going to drop this assistant on the market. So the market's off limits to me. So now even if I wanted to buy a brick, I could not. I'm going to grab 3 money. I use money and gold interchangeably as well. Grindstone they've already upgraded, and guild they've already got their hammer. One thing I might have done in error, no I don't think I did, they can only drop 1 hammer per round of play, so it's just something to remember. Alright, we'll go back to my turn. I've got my blacksmith and 1 person left, but in order to forge this I do need wood, so I'm going to send this assistant up here to get 4 wood, because I can always use wood later for future contracts. Doesn't hurt to have extra wood. And then I'll put one of these wood on here to show that I'm going to use it for that. Go back to Ironclad's turn. They're going to place their blacksmith here. They're going to gain 1 coin. If they have 10 money, which they don't, they're 1 short, they could make their vice. And if they hadn't already put a hammer on the wagon, they would get a hammer there. So Ironclad has done their turn. Go back to my turn. My final action for the round. You know what? I could go for a development card, or I could try to get some more contracts. Because it's a blacksmith, I'm going to go for more contracts. I'm going to keep going for common contracts because I get extra victory points at the end of the game for those. I'm actually going to go here and draw 2 more cards. Let's take these pitchforks. They're worth 7 points if I can make them. When I draw that, that goes to the discard pile, and now I can pick this or this. I'm going to take the discard. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to take it. Some plates and mugs. Exciting stuff. All right. So that is my last placement. So all assistants are placed, which means blacksmith returns to the forge, and I can forge any one of these contracts. Now I'm going to forge the crosses because they're the most difficult, but they're also going to get me more points. And we've already been through the resources I needed, so I'm going to delete the 2 metal, the 1 wood, and the 1 gemstone that I put on top of this. Put this into play. And we're going to gain 6 money and 5 victory points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to gain 5, 6 money. Now the other thing I've done is now that I've forged 3 items, I get to drop a hammer in the one spot where the opponent doesn't get a hammer. So the opponent never gets to use the completed contracts, but I do, and I get 5 points for that. All right, that's the end of this round. So we're going to pull back our assistants. I said the right word this time. Pull back the assistants, even this guy in the Guild's Cove, or gal. Blacksmith returns. Turn all those the AI opponents pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, and where's the last one? 5. We're going to shuffle up the Ironclad deck. I'm going to shuffle it a few times this time. Then we're going to bring this hammer up now, and then we'll gain a brick. So once you've gone all the way to the bottom, you start to work your way back up. And we'll place another hammer here. All right. And Ironclad's going to take their turn. First turn of the game. They're going to drop their meeple here. They're going to gain 1 gold. So now they're up to 10. Because they have 8 gold, they can make their hammer. They have to make their hammer. So I'm going to take that 8 gold off, upgrade that hammer, and gain 3 points immediately. Good for them. And if they didn't already have their hammer there, they would drop their hammer. So really the only one they have left is develop or skill star. Back to my turn. I still have a chance to get my developments going, and I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to send this off to developments. And I don't want the tunnels, I don't think. I'm going to grab from the top of the discard pile. Sorry, the top of the draw pile. I can pick the water wheel and gain a free skill, or the wood shop, and equipment and tools requiring wood cost 1 less to build. So that's all the stuff on the top and bottom of my board. Could cost less wood, or I could get a free skill. Now nothing in the game requires 6 skill, but if I got an extra skill, I would get a bonus 5 points. So you know what, I'm going to go with the bonus points. So that's going to go there, and I get 5 points that I wouldn't normally get in the game. So you can see I'm closing the gap here. Alright, Ironclad's going to take their turn. They're going to drop their worker up here, block that first wood spot. They're going to get 5 money. And if they had 10 money, they would make a wagon, but the wagon's already made. They're going to draw a training card. That's worth 2 victory points. And one of these goes in the discard pile. And then they're going to draw a common contract. And if they have 6 money, which they do, they will pay for that. And they will gain 5 points immediately. Keep in mind, they don't get the gold on these. They pay the gold, they don't get the gold. The resources don't matter. I'm going to go back to my turn. I'm going to keep working away at the development cards here, because that's just what I feel like doing. So we're going to take this assistant and drop some here, and I take the top card of the discard pile. So now I get the wood chop. So that's worth 2 points right away, which we'll grab. And later on, it'll be a benefit for me if I remember. Alright, opponent's turn. They're going to drop a guy here. Now, if they don't have a guy that they can drop here, they instead drop their blacksmith there. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm going to gain 2 money. If they could upgrade their tongs, they would, but they've already done that, and they've already got the hammer on the chisels. So that'll bring it back to my turn. And so that gives me a prime opportunity right now to place this person. All the development spots are taken. See, because the opponent placed that, I cannot get my development card. That's too bad. Alright, so maybe I'm going to work towards something else. I don't have enough brick to get a forge yet, but I could upgrade something on the bottom. I'm going to use this engineer, place this assistant on any spot of the upgrade location, even if another assistant's present. So I'm going to put this guy here, and I want to upgrade my I'm going to take 1 metal and no wood, because I get a wood discount because of my wood shop, and 3 money. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to upgrade this hammer, so I'm going to get 3 points for that. 1, 2, 3. And if I did have any weapons, they would cost 1 metal less to forge, so that's something to keep in mind. Back to Ironclad's turn. Flip the card, they're going to drop a meatball on the bottom right square, and gain a coin. They don't have 10 money to make a vice, and they can't upgrade their wagon again. So their turn was pretty straightforward. I'm going to go back to my turn. So I really would like to upgrade that vice, but I would need more metal to do that. I've only got 2 assistants left. So metal is open. I'm actually going to send my blacksmith to the metal so I can grab 4 metal. And that will be very useful in the game. I'm also going to take a look at my contracts. At the end of the round, I get 1 free forge, so I could forge that. It's only going to cost 1 metal. I've got the skill. In order to forge that, I would need 4 wood and 3 metal, and I don't have that. So I'm probably just going to make plates and mugs this round. Save the pitchforks for next. Ironclad doesn't. Oh, they have 1 meeple left, so yep, they're going to drop that up in the middle. Did I put my guy in the wrong place? I think I did. I grabbed something wrong there. Oh no, that's not. Okay, nope, we're good. So drop there, get 4 coins. So I take a 5 and get rid of a 1. If they had 12 money, which they don't, they would get that. They get a development card if they have fewer than 4 cards, which they do. That's worth 3 points for them. And then they discard top card of the development deck and draw a royal card. And if they can afford it, which they can, for 4 money, they buy the royal card and it gets forged, giving them 4 more points. So they're still keeping a nice lead on me. Back to my turn. Only got 1 guy left. That guy could forge something on his own, but I get a free forge action, so that doesn't seem worthwhile right now. I can't make my vice. Could make a wagon up top, which would be worth some points. Let's do that. Let's send this assistant over here. I'm going to spend 6 money. And normally I'd have to spend 2 wood, but because of my wood shop, it only costs 1 wood. So use those resources, upgrade this wagon, and score 5 points. I'm going to go back to Ironclad's turn. They have nothing left. I have nothing left. So then we go to the end of the round. Blacksmith returns to the forge, pounds that hammer, and makes some mighty plates and mugs. Nothing too exciting here. But I do get bonus points for common contracts. So even though it's only worth 3 points, now it's going to be worth extra points at the end of the game. first I'll grab my coin and then my 3 points. All right, that concludes the round, and we're going to proceed. Grab all of our meeples back. Blacks, Ironclad, crap is theirs. Find their blacksmith there, good. Shuffle those back in. That's good, that's good. I'm going to put the hammer here, and I will gain a medal for free. I'm going to take a turn hammer, put it there, and start the next round. Quick sip of water. All right, Ironclad goes first. We're going to drop a meeple here, blocking that spot for the round. That's a good location, so really they should be dropping that guy. But they do block it, they get 2 money. If they haven't upgraded their chisels, they can spend 4, which they do have. Spend that 4 money. Upgrade chisels, get 1 point. And then if they haven't already got the star, which they don't, they're going to drop their hammer now. So they're going to drop that hammer, and they only get 3 points for that one. All right, go to my turn. We're going to finish off that development now. So I can get 3 points plus an orange seal, which I actually don't have, so that's not a bad card to get. I'm going to send this here, take this embellishments, get 3 points, and that seal will be worth points at the end of the game. So that's valuable to me. Back to Ironclad. We're going to take a person and put it here. They're going to get 3 money. After the 3 money, they could upgrade grindstone, but that's already done, and they've already placed the hammer there. So we'll go back to my turn. For these pitchforks, I do need some more wood. So I'm going to send this traveler up to the forest. Now, normally I would gain 4 wood, but because I have a wagon, I actually gain an extra wood, so I get 5 wood. Keep in mind, wood's not worth anything at the end of the game. Neither is metal, neither is brick. Only gems and money are worth extra points at the end of the game. So the extra wood might not do me any good. That's okay. Back to Ironclad. They're going to drop a meeple up on the mountains. They're going to gain 4 money, so we'll swap that out. So they currently have 9 money. They can't afford the anvil. They don't get a development card because they already have one. But if they would gain a card and already reach their limit, they gain 1 VP instead. So they still get a point for that development card. And then Royal Contract, they can spend 6 money, which they have. To acquire that, they make themselves an iron chest, which is worth 5 money. They're still staying ahead. Staying ahead. All right. So now for pitchforks, I'm going to set this aside and 3 metal aside. No gems, no bricks. So that's going to be worth some points for me at the end of the round. I still got lots of extra resources left, so I have to decide what I want to do. Now, I was wanting to make this vise so I could at least clear the bottom and drop another hammer. So I am going to set my blacks. I'm going to send this assistant here to upgrade this. So it cost me 2 metal, 2 metal, and 4 money. 1, 2, 3, 4. So delete those. Upgrade that, which will get me 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I get to drop an achievement hammer because I fulfilled the bottom side of my forge. So that is right here. So I'm going to get 3 more points for that. Slowly catching up. Ironclad's going to take a turn. They're going back to the mine, so they're hogging all the metal this round. I'm going to take 4 money, so now they're up to 7. They can't afford an anvil. They can't afford get another development card, but they do get a bonus point because they have 4 development cards. And chances are they're going to forge this military contract. 5. Nope, they can't afford it, so that gets discarded. back to my turn. I've got an assistant and a blacksmith. I'm going to get a free forge action. I could exhaust this guy, but I only have one contract, so it doesn't make sense to do that yet. Unless I can find a forge action that only requires wood, but that's very unlikely. So, you know what? I'm going to send this assistant to my guild's cove. We're going to gain the top card of the guild deck. So we have found a brownsmith. I will get 3 coins and a wood. I didn't really need another wood, but that's what I get for going there. I just wanted to get another some more seals going, which are worth points at the end of the game. So I was glad to get brown because I don't have brown yet. There's 7 different colors. All right, back to Ironclad. He's got 1 token left, so that is going to go up to the mines. Get 3 money. 1, 2, 3. And then if they have 19, which they do not, they can forge the forge. Then they get a guild card. And they only have 2 guild cards, so they will acquire the top card of the guild deck. And discard. Back to me. All I have left is my blacksmith. What do we want to do? I'm going to acquire. Do I want some more contract cards? Sure. I'm going to go here and acquire 2 contract cards. I will take the top card of the deck, water wheels, and I'll take this tool card. So I'm forging lots of little stuffs this game. If you were to forge the purple cards, you'd probably forge fewer cards, but they'd be worth more points. So that's both of our turns ended. Blacksmith returns to the forge. I can forge 1 item. The one that I worked the hardest for was pitchforks, and I do have the resources for it. So we're going to forge those pitchforks, delete these 7 resources that it costs, gain 7 money, which is good. I like money. Gain 7 money. Actually, I'm going to take that 5 money and turn it into a 5 spot. I can't forge anything else, even if I had the resources. One of the things I forgot to pay attention to was that I do have white, black, gold, orange. So I've got at least 4 guild colors, so I do actually get to drop this hammer on the guild colors and get 3 more points. It's one of the ones I tend to forget about the most. Although I also had the developments one. So that one actually should have gone there. I would have had 5 points. Okay. So we've done our forge. We're going to recall our assistants, and we're going to dive into the final round of play. And again, playing this on paper, or after you've played this a few times and not explaining it like I am, would probably be much faster than how I'm playing it, unless you like to think a lot about your turns, which is perfectly fine. It's fun about a solo game. You can do whatever you want. It's your game. Alright, so we've returned all of our folks. We are going to drop the final hammer. So final turn. I'll put my hammer here and I'll get 1 last free wood. Not that I need it, but there it is. And we will shuffle the Ironclad deck and finish this final round of play. Shuffle that up. Ironclad goes first. They are going to drop a meeple in the market, blocking that, which means there's no way I'm going to be able to build my forge. I've only got 1 brick and now I can't get brick, so Ironclad stopped me. 1, 2, 3 coins they get. They already built a grindstone and they already have a hammer there, so not a very eventful turn for them. But they're doing alright for points still. My turn. Wouldn't mind forging these 2 items, which means I'm going to need some metal. So I'm going to send this person up to the mountains to gain 3 metal, just so I can ensure I can do a few things here. Now that's going to require a metal, that's going to require 2 metal, that will require 2 wood, that will require 1 wood if I decide to forge them both. So just got to keep that in mind. Neither of them are blue, so I don't get a discount with my silversmith. It's too bad. Back to Ironclad. Oops. They are going to drop a meeple in the middle. And gain 3 coins. 1, 2, 3. So now they've got 16. They've already made the grindstone. And they've already dropped a trading. So that's their turn. I'm going to go back to mine. I could get some points for this anvil, but I would need 2 more metal for that. I've already got all my assistance trained. I've already got my development cards. Or, you know what, I could go for another guild card. Let's use this Traveler. No. Oh, I can use any one of these, that's right. We'll send this person back to the Guild's Cove, gain the top card of the guild deck. So I found a locksmith. I get 2 money. And a free metal, which is handy. Oops. Take a free metal. Okay. Ironclad's turn. They're going to take a meeple and put it on the develop spot, which bothers me not at all because I'm fully developed already. Then they're gonna. They've got their 2 coins. They've already upgraded chisels, and they already have that. So you can see what I mean. Their turns get a bit faster and less successful as the game goes on. And it's kind of they rate that this blacksmith doesn't get any better. They just started off good, and I'm getting better over time. Kind of indicative of that. Alright, I don't get any discount because these don't have discount. You know what? I'm going to take advantage of my master blacksmith. This assistant may be exhausted, so I'm going to put it there to forge a contract of skill level 4 or less, expending the tool and resources. So I'm going to expend these 2 metal, these 2 wood, and forge this contract that's worth 4 money and 4 points. I'll put back 1 money so I can take 5 and gain those 4 points right away. For the first time this game, in the final turn, I've pulled ahead of Ironclad. Quite exciting for me anyway. They will place a blacksmith meeple here, so they're blocking that spot. I won't be able to acquire any more guilds this round. This game, actually, since the game is almost over. Now up to 20 money, but they can't upgrade that, and they've already dropped their hammer there. So I'm going to go back to my turn. What am I interested in doing? You know what? All I have left is 2 meeples. I could get a contract and see if I could make that contract. There's actually one right there that I could make. Let's do it. We're going to go here, grab the top card of the discard pile, put it there. I'll show you what I'm doing on my next turn. Ironclad's going to go. They're going to the mine to get 3 money. Throw that on there. If they have 19 money, which they do, they actually have 23 money. So we're going to take all of this 23 away and then bring back 18. Yeah, they get 4 money back. 1, 2, 3, 4. They get to upgrade their forge. Good for them. 7 points they just got for that. Oof. Alright. And they get a guild card. They don't have 4 guild cards yet, so they get their 4th guild card and end their turn. Going back to my turn. So my plan was that as my final turn, I'm going to actually send my blacksmith to the forge to forge as an extra forge action this turn. Because you can always go there to forge something if you have the ability to. So you know what? I'm going to use my metal and forge out some clock gears as my final forge action of the main round. That's going to accrue me a whole coin and 3 points. We'll take it. Let's time the game there. That is the end of play. So then we finish off the game with one last forge action. So even though I'm already at the forge, I do get a free forge action, which means I can expend those 2 to make my tools. That will also get me 2 more money. And 3 points. We'll take that. 3 points. Wow. So we did it. We're at the end of the game. Now we have to accrue final points. And points are accrued in a couple of different ways. First off, I'd look to see, do I get any extra points from verbiage that's on my cards? So do I get any extra points from my expert craftsman? No. Oopsie. Do I get any points from that? Yes. Common contracts worth 2 additional VP. So 2, 4, 6, 8. So common contracts are brown. You can see it on the board there. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 points just from that alone. So that'll bring me up to 92 points. Oops, sorry, 96 points. Because I have 8 of those. It's not often you see 8 cards forged in a game of Forge, so that's what happens when you pile away at the common contracts. Look at what else I have. So that's not worth any extra points, and that's not worth any extra points. Neither are any of these cards. And contract cards, we already accrued the points during the game. The next thing I would look at is my seal colors. So what I mean by that is any cards that have a color on them. You can see on the top left there. And I'm going to set them up into sets. So you can have more than one set, but what I'm going to do is arrange the colors like this. So as you can see there, blue, purple, brown. But I do have another purple over here, so this purple I'm going to put here to start my second set. Orange I don't have on the top row yet, so we're going to put that there. White, don't have yet, put that in the top row. Black. If you see a little X, that means they are not affiliated with a guild. But gold, so there you have it. So I have a set of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So a set of all 7 colors and then a set of 3. A set of 7 colors is worth 20 points. A set of 3 is worth 5. So I just accrued 25 points from my guild colors. So 96 plus 20. So, 25. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we'll go up to 121 points. Would be my score. And then we're going to go to Ironclad and see what kind of points they have left. Oh, I'm not done yet, actually. Yes, I am. Sorry. Forge board, we already got those points when we upgraded our things. So we're going to look at Ironclad's. Oh, one last thing to look at for mine is money and gems. I have no gems, and I have 15 plus 8 is 23 money. And you get 1 point for every 5 money. So I'm actually going to get 4 more points. Alright, now we're going to go back to Ironclad. Ironclad, all they have left to do is their money, which they only have 4 of, so they don't get any points for that. And then their guild colors. So here we have white, purple, blue. Let's say black. They don't have any on those. Orange. Then we have a purple, a brown up here, and a purple. That's not a color. Those aren't colors. So they actually don't have a big setup this time around. If we look, they have a set of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2 sets of 1. So 2 sets of 1 are worth a point each, and the set of 6 is worth 15, so they have a total of 17 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And that is the end of the game. So I actually had a pretty victorious round here, 125 points to 94. I was playing against the easy mode of Ironclad. Ironclad can be harder. One of the ways Ironclad gets harder is they get the gold shown on their guild cards. So that's one perk that they can get. Another perk they can get is having a 6th hammer that they can drop on the achievement board. So those 2 things can help them accrue more points. But I was playing the easy mode just to really go through, show you how the game works in solo mode and make sure we got through 7 turns. But there you have it, 125 to 94, me against my own game. I kind of have an understanding of the workings of the game, so that might help give me a bit of an advantage against the AI that I built. Hopefully this was beneficial to you to understand what the game of Forge is like and what the Ironclad AI is like. If you have any comments, questions, notice I did anything wrong, feel free to slam me in the comments. And thank you for watching.